come in to my waffle, which again is where all of my Google apps live. Now, for those of you that have not attended any of my Google sessions, please be mindful. We are a Microsoft district, which means that we have complete access to the Microsoft tools, which is one of the reasons our emails come through an Outlook, a Microsoft supported platform. However, because we are so awesome, we also provide Google Apps for Education. Now, if you've never used Google Apps with your Office 365 email account, then you can totally do that by simply going into a Chrome browser and logging in with your credentials. Now, you will not have access to all of the tools because first off, we use Outlook for our email, so you won't have Gmail. And then we're also a Canvas district, which means that we're not going to have access to a Google Classroom option. Okay, so just keep those things in mind. So again, as I've said every time this week, be sure one of the biggest hiccups when it comes to using Google is most of us have a professional and a personal. Our professional is linked to our Office 365 email account, but a lot of us also have a personal Google account. So be sure that you are in your professional when you are in Google. That's typically one of the biggest troubleshooting questions that I have when people say they can't access a document with their professional Google. All right, so let's talk about a commenter's link. So I'm going to come in and I have in my Google Docs, I already have like an essay that's right here, and we're going to talk out some things with a commenter's link. So I've got this essay right here on moon phases. And if I wanted I could do this in a couple ways. I could send this out to colleagues and say, hey, can you proofread this? I could send this out to students with errors, or to a student with an error in it. I mean, I could do lots of different options. But where this is going to be super important is if you need, if you're sending lesson plans, if you use Google for your lesson plan templates and you're sending out those lesson plans to your administrators, this is a great thing to be sure to ask your teachers to send you a commenter's link to their lesson plans in Google so that you can comment back. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show you a document, and then I'm going to get a commenter's link, and I'm going to open that link and show you what happens when you become the commenter. Okay, so first off, I'm going to come in and let's just pretend I just copy and pasted this, you guys. So if you're reading it for its content, just know that it's just words, something that I pulled over. Okay, so to get a commenter's link, I could simply come in and click share. For those of you that are secondary teachers, if you're secondary ELA teachers, this is a great feature for you to teach your students to be sure that they send you a link so that you can comment. Remember, you can always just come straight in and add someone's name, but where I like to find the most important features is down in the link, and I like to send it as a link. So remember, with any Google document, Google Slides, those features, you've got two options. You need to know who can access it and what can they do with that. So the first is always that, like I said, every day, and I'm just going to reiterate, is that any link that you generate through a Google Apps for Education with your Office 365 account is going to default to Newton County Schools. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to go ahead and change that to anyone, because what I'm going to do is, and in just a second, I am going to come over to my personal email and see if I can pull it up from my personal email and show you what it looks like if my personal email is given commenter rights. Okay, so again, really and truly, the biggest thing that I would say with the who is to recognize the sensitivity of the content that you're trying to send. I do not suggest sending anything that is student sensitive with an open link. Okay, just remember that. All right, the next option is the what can they do with it, and this is where you get the option of commenter. And I'm just going to go ahead and click commenter. So basically, I've just changed this link that I'm about to generate and copy. This link says that anyone with this link can comment on this document. Okay. Now, remember, if you're an administrator, if you're a teacher, if you're looking at all of this and seeing, oh, there's so many great options here, I could really and truly, I could get a commenters link and send that to my administrator. I could get a view only link and send that to a colleague, so you can generate all three links. You just have to be sure that you copy them and send them to the right person. Okay, so just don't forget that. So I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to come up here. So now I have opened this document. Well, let me see if I can change it right here. Maybe let me change that. Okay. Perfect. So you can see that I have changed my document and I have come in as my personal email account. Okay, which means that I'm no longer in my professional account, which is kind of going to change some of my information and permissions. So let's just say that I wanted to make a comment. And I see one thing that I wanted to comment right here on as an ELA teacher is obviously we need to indent on a paragraph. The first sentence needs to have an indentation. So as a commenter, I could come in, I could kind of highlight this. And as soon as I highlight any texts, it gives me almost like this little plus sign for a track change. And I could come in right here and say, what have we learned about paragraph indentation? And you can see I start going very fast and I make a spelling error, but it picks it up, which is really good. Okay, so you can see how I really didn't give them the answer to that. I just gave them a question so that maybe they could find that out. And then when I come in, I could just simply click OK. And that's going to put a comment right there. Some of us that have seen this feature, it's called track changes in Word, but it's really super easy in Google as well with a commenters link. So I could come in and do the same thing right here. I could add another comment. I could come in and just say, whatever I wanted to say and comment right there. So I could come in with this commenters link and I could make all of the changes that I wanted for my original owner to see so that basically I can make those changes in real time. Now, I have a middle school ELA teacher that has really and truly revolutionized her classroom because of Google Docs and using track changes like this. So rather than think about it like this, when students did the writing process or if they did an essay writing, they would have to turn in every step individually in isolation, and then the teacher took it home and had to fix it. And then when students had to handwrite any type of essays, they always had to start back at the very beginning. Most of the time, we didn't allow them to come in and just erase mass information because we wanted to track the progress. So for instance, in the ELA classroom that I'm talking about, this document ended up being 4 or 5 pages. Every change that was made was kept in the original document so that you could see the progress from simple brainstorming all the way to the finished document. Okay, so you can see how I have come in and added all kinds of great resources, or I could even put some type of, like I say, some type of resource. I've given great hints right here as to how this can be better. Okay, so I'm going to come back over to my original that is obviously in my professional account. Okay, I hope that that is making sense. Let me make sure that you understand. I opened this second moon phase with my personal account, and this original one is out of my professional account. So now you can see that I have come in as my personal self and I've made some comments. So I could come in right here and I can okay, that is very good. She just said something to me about indentation and I need to fix that. Okay. So I could come in and change that, make some changes to it. Once I have changed it, mark as resolve or hide this discussion. So this is also a great way for you to create a checklist for your students. So, okay, she told me I needed to indent my first sentence in my paragraph. I did that. So I'm going to say, okay, very good. Same thing right here. I'm going to come in and I'm going to go ahead and indent. And when I'm finished, I could come in and click the check mark, meaning that I have taken care of that comment. Okay. Lots of principals like this option because it allows them to read with intent when it comes to lesson plans. It also helps principals to be able to come in and say, I don't understand that. Can you explain this? It also helps you because I've seen a lot of principals like something and add a comment and basically say, I am going to mark my calendar to come and see you at this time because this looks super, super exciting. Okay, so let me go ahead and recap a little bit on a commenter's link. So a commenter's link is going to allow the person that receives the link to make some type of comments on the document. Like I said, right here is a prime example of I'm in my professional, but you can see that I'm also in it, my professional, but I'm opened this document in my personal account. Okay, so I can see that from this angle, those have been corrected. If I wanted to, I could come back and add additional comments on this document and keep going back and forth until this document turns into the perfect document for submission or for wherever you want this to go. Okay. So again, it's a great tool, and the commenter's link, I'm going to go back to my original document. The commenter's link lives in the share button. When you click on share, I'm a link person. You just come into the get a link and then make some changes right here. Now, like I said when we started, using a commenter's link is an endless opportunity for you, depending on if you're a classroom teacher, if you're an administrator. It really and truly doesn't matter what your role is, you have endless opportunity.